West Tigers fans, we are back. The new draw has been set for 2025. New signings for the West Tigers. It's a new season. It may be November, but it's time to start talking about 2025 on another episode of the West Tigers Life. Welcome in, West Tigers fans. Another episode of the West Tigers Life. As you may have heard and seen on the socials, we are doing a little bit of a rebrand. We're adding the Tigers in between our name as we head into the 2025 season, just to put a bit more brand awareness into the name and distance ourselves from the boy band from the 90s as well. So I'll get to my fellow boy band members in a second. So give us a follow. All the handles have been changed as well. So Instagram, Twitter, and I have put a TikTok up there. TikTok hasn't got anything on it yet. We'll see what we will do with the TikTok next year. It'll probably just be another outlet for our Instagram content, but it's at West Tigers Life now. So no longer West Life Pod, it's West Tigers Life. So got the full name ahead of. Let's hope the West Tigers don't drop the ball like Mr. Bashara just dropped the microphone, but it is the off season. That's okay. This is when we can make mistakes. Mr. Bashara, how are you this evening?
I'm well, Josh. G'day, boys. Good to be here after a couple of months break. We've got obviously, we're a bit excited about our latest signing and the draw being released this morning. So we've got a little bit to discuss, and I'm sure Aaron's going to break down the draw pretty well because I haven't gone past round one, to be brutally honest.
Aaron's been like a kid on his evening of his HSC test. He's been studying it all day long. He's going to blow our minds with some stats. The stats man's got plenty tonight. So I've got a slideshow here, but it's literally all up here for Az. So how are you this evening, stats man?
Yeah, pretty good, Josh. G'day, everyone watching and listening. G'day, Rob, as well. I mean, I wouldn't say I studied the draw today. I did write it all down on some pieces of paper that I stick on my wall. And I used those to send Josh a few things that he could add into the slideshow.
Yeah.
I didn't really study it, but it's kind of funny because my brother got home from work and he asked me my thoughts immediately. And even at that point, I think it was maybe 3:45 or something along those lines. And by looking at the draw twice, 3 times, or whatever it was, I had pretty much everything I wanted to say on the show tonight. Pretty much nailed, and it's just I amaze myself sometimes with how my brain works in regards to this stuff. I'm just
so have we made the 8 or what?
I mean, I'd like if we
have
have
Fox. We don't need the Fox lab. We've got the Az lab.
I mean, it's been a pretty good off season as well for me. Started a new job, as you guys know.
Yeah.
Christmas casual at the moment, but hopefully that can continue into the new year.
Good for you.
Feels good that this is kind of like rugby league new year in a way. Obviously, November 1st, we're allowed to celebrate our new signings now and get a little bit more hyped for season 2025, especially with the drop of the draw.
I've seen a few Panthers fans. Romy had his binge ad on Instagram.
That was hilarious. I absolutely love that.
I haven't seen it yet.
I think someone in the Discord posted it was a Panthers fan. I was just scrolling the comments, and a Panthers fan saying, "Oh, they're trying to tease us." Like, he's ours now. Unlucky.
Like they've won 3 premierships in a row. Like, what more do they want? 4. Jeez, 4. Gosh.
Yeah, try and rub that last one from our memories.
Yeah, but we've had a lot of fun with that. There's a dedicated Twitter Dickheads channel in the Discord. If you want to join us on Discord, patreon.com/it is still Westlife, the link there. So come join us for a few bucks a month. A lot of fun, a lot of other sports, as has been crying over his Cincinnati Bengals losing in the NFL Discord.
Not
what's your
crying, but
NBA?
pissed at the referees.
Yeah, it's the Tigers don't have an off season for you, do they? So yeah, come join patreon.com, and also please support our beloved sponsor, iChoice. We are coming from the I choose iChoice. We're coming from. If you look behind us, it looks like we're literally in a professional studio here. This is literally the office of iChoice.
You might get it eventually.
I have so many Mac devices.
It's the off season, like you said.
I'm having a stroke. What's going on? Talking to a toddler all day. The iChoice studio. It's full of. We've got there's a Tigers 1989 program here. He's got all sorts of paraphernalia. It's very cool. It's just an old bank, isn't it? It's an old.
Yeah, it's the old Commonwealth Bank that was on the corner of Liverpool Road and the Boulevard at Strathfield.
So if you are looking to get finance for a home or refinance your home, interest rates are pretty stable at the moment from what I've seen in the news.
Yep.
Possibly, I think I saw NAB the other day bringing theirs down. So Jason, come in, talk footy and talk finance, refinance your home, get a good deal and a good interest rate. He literally can make you money. That's
they're flat out at the moment too, which is great to hear.
Yeah.
Just quickly, fellas, as well. This jersey directly behind Rob, what year is that from?
2000, and I want to say 2002. Someone might
new. When I see that, I think of Kevin McGuinness.
Yeah, it is a very Kevin McGuinness looking jersey. I want to say E-Group Security on the sleeves, new loan, home loans on the belly. Darren Centre there.
Maybe someone can tell us on the
out
there. Someone will know.
We had 2003 was Don Smallgill. I want to say 2000. Probably 2001, 2002. Need if there's a jersey expert.
We had one on the show.
Let us know.
John.
Yeah, John, if you're out there, he's probably got one. So, shouts to Johnny Boy and to Mobile Corp, our beloved other partner. They can help you with all sorts of tech gear. So check out mobilecorp.com.au for all your tech needs. Speaking of which, I think our sound. I haven't had anyone complain about the sound. Did lots of tests before.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I think we're sounding pretty good. One thing that's also sounding pretty good is the sound of the West Tigers roster for 2025. Terrell May, formerly of the Sydney Roosters, has come and joined the West Tigers. And Rob, a lot of people were saying we overpaid for Jerome Luai, but I preached this for a while on the show that we just needed that one domino to fall. And apparently a big reason for him to coming is because of Jerome. And it might not be the last one to come as well.
Well, he's filled that last roster spot for now, unless we release someone. Look, it's the best news. When I heard he was being released by the Roosters, I was quite shocked. I know he comes off the bench, but in my opinion, he's in the top 5 props in the game. Like, if we got Payne Haas, I'd be doing backflips. If we got Aden Fanua-Blake, I'd be doing backflips. To me, this is the next best available player, and he's still young as well. Look, we've lost a lot of experience or a lot of muscle from that pack. We've lost Stefano, who didn't have a great back half to 2024. We can accept that. We've lost Isaiah Papali'i, who I think is a big loss and a good piece. We're most likely losing Bateman. That's still up in the air. We'll probably discuss that a bit later. But this guy is better than Stefano. No offense to Stefano, but he's just much better. He busts out good minutes. He's got it offensively. He can offload the ball at will. He's a meter reader. Defensively, he's great. And he has got good lateral movement, not like Steph, who's got the, lateral movement of the QE2. So when I heard Saints and Canterbury were in the market, I thought Canterbury needed a big forward as well. And I don't think we'd done well in the off season. I know Royce Hunt has potential, but guys, I'll go through some numbers with you shortly. Terrell May, like, his output is double what Royce Hunt's is. Okay. So we're actually getting a complete package, 3 years for $2 million, I believe, thereabouts. So fantastic deal. Exactly what we needed, because that pack was looking, in my opinion, paper thin and missing quite a bit of experience with both back rowers likely, Bateman not likely to be there, and Ice, of course, leaving. And I just didn't want to get my hopes up. I just thought this is too good to be true that he's available. And I honestly shed a tear when we signed him. I was just so happy because, as I told you guys on Discord, you know, always got a little bit of hope with that Benji's learnt from the off season. You know, like let's face it, Benji's doing his apprenticeship while he's head coach, so he's still learning. Getting Romy, for anyone that doesn't know who Romy is by now, that's Jerome Luai. Getting him is massive, both on and off the field, for confidence, for what he brings. That, you know, having won all those premierships in a row, and actually being the main man now at the club, along with Lockie Galvin, to steer our ship. But then the forwards were missing. These guys need a platform. They need it. You need forwards to be going forward, and even Appy, like if there are eyes on Terrell May, just like there were with Steph close to the line, then that just frees up Appy to do his little show and go. And I just think he's going to be our grunt and our leader of our pack. And I love that he's excited to be there. Yeah, it's just, we could not have got a better signing. We've got him a lot cheaper than what we were going to pay Stefano, and we've got a better quality player. We definitely need to up Royce Hunt's minutes. But I do have some numbers on Terrell May that I do want to mention.
Stats man tonight. Look at this.
No, I just wanted to help because I didn't know. I knew Aaron was going to be sort of really into the draw tonight. So Terrell May averaged nearly 46 minutes per game. He played 27 games, 17 of which were over 40 minutes.
That just blew my mind. Then I'm like, wait, there's only 24. No.
Other teams, that's the Roosters.
Other teams do.
That's the Roosters. They do play finals. The average, as I said, 45 minutes per game. 14 of those games. Hang on, 17 of those games were above 40 minutes. 11 of those games were above 50 minutes. One of those games was above 60 minutes. He busted out a 75-minute game and an 80-minute game. And why I mentioned that he's done 17 games above 40 minutes, Royce Hunt averages almost half the minutes for Cronulla, and Royce Hunt's biggest output this year out of all his games was 39 minutes. And out of his games, Royce Hunt played exactly 16 games. 4 of those games only were over 30 minutes.
Okay.
So he's got really low numbers. His average was 23.75 minutes a game.
So you're saying we want to get his minutes up, or you think
we've got to get his minutes up? But I think in terms of potential and what he can be and body shape and all these sort of things, Royce Hunt is a prop I like. But if you're being realistic about him being on the money he's worth and averaging 23.75 minutes a game and doing what he did for Cronulla, it's not enough for us. We need more than that. Now, hopefully with the off season, I mean, he already looks pretty fit, to be fair. He looks a bit trimmer and what have you. We need more output out of him. But people saying, oh, we've got Hunt and we've got May. No, we've got May. Like, you can't compare Royce Hunt to Terrell May. And that's no disrespect. It's just, I'm just talking on numbers. So yeah, I'm absolutely excited. I hope he stays on the field. And it's not just that too. What did I say he played? It was 27 games? 27 games. Royce Hunt only played 16. Yeah. So you got a guy who has just got all those miles under his legs. He's played with a great team. And, look, the Roosters they're endowed with prop forwards and stuff like that. I think he starts in any team, and he probably should have started with the Roosters, but a lot of times they played him off the bench, except for rep footy when Lindsay Collins was playing for Queensland. So look, massive, massive, massive inclusion. As I said, I had hope, a little bit of hope for next year. Now I've got hope and belief because, you got to be realistic. Forwards win matches. This guy doesn't even have to be developed. He's there. He's ready to go. He's going to do a great job. And yeah, can't wait. Yep. Really great news.
That's keen for the season already. Any thoughts on May and the other guys starting to roll into preseason training?
Well, I think Terrell May is the right signing in regards to which of the three brothers is probably best suited to be an NRL player at the moment, especially with what the family seems to have going on. So I'm quite happy with Terrell. Like Rob said, big minutes, a lot of potential there. I will disagree with Rob on one thing. I think earlier you said that Terrell better player than Stefano.
100%.
While I
it's not even close.
That, I feel like the potential of Stefano is probably a little bit.
Everyone's got potential. Royce Hunt's got potential.
Yeah, I still think Stefano's potential is probably there, but
he's got more upside because he's not even close. Like defensively, he's not even in the game. You see people step Stefano all the time. As in terms of a battering ram near the line, Steph's probably in the top five prop forwards, but he doesn't have that big motor. He's always huffing and puffing after 10 minutes. You don't get this with Terrell May.
It'll be interesting to see what happens at the Storm.
Well, he's going to have to survive that preseason. But look, the good thing for Stefano, like I've bagged him on his back half of last year. But the thing with Stefano, if he survives in Melbourne preseason, he's going to be great.
Absolutely.
If Steph's there for 2 years, he's going to be a rep player.
Law had problems with the Storm preseason, considering he
Sean
started
Law had
midway
problems with it
through,
last year.
but
He said
well
like he couldn't believe how difficult it was compared to what he was doing at the West Tigers.
Not a problem, just a shock.
No, like it was shock. Like he was physically ill, and the fact is he wasn't ready for round one because of their high standards. And as we said last year many times on the podcast, Nelson Asafa-Solomona didn't get into first grade till the middle of the year because his standards weren't up, and he was playing for North Sydney Bears or whatever their feeder club is.
Yeah, well, it might be Perth soon.
I will also say I think it's great how most of the signings that we've made have already started preseason training. Hunt and Bird in particular. The fact that they weren't due back until next month and they're in 3 weeks early or whatever it is a really good sign for what they want to try and bring to the club, and how they want to approach the season as well and be mentors for the younger guys coming through, especially Royce in the forwards. I think is really important that he gets his nose to the grindstone, works really hard and shows the guys the way to train. Obviously, he's coming from a club that's made finals reasonably consistently over the last few years. Haven't won games in the finals per se, but I mean, plays in a team that can get there. And obviously, we've got 2 other players from the Panthers who are going to be coming probably, or I think they've already made their presence known around the club, but
they're ready-made players. I think that's what you're trying to say. They're like Taruva.
Plus they're fitter.
You got Taruva, you got Luai, you got May. You got three players out of 13 that you need in a starting team that don't need Benji's magic dust. They're ready to go. They're ready. But where other guys that we need to help them. Like we've got to develop Royce Hunt. We've got to hope that we can get Jack Bird to play most of the games this year because he's generally reasonably injury prone. So no, look, it's exciting. It's the best signing. Like I just thought our pack was turning to shit. And to lose both second rowers most likely if Bateman goes and Stefano, I thought, wow, that's a lot of replacing. We haven't locked in Fanua Bolle left. Yet Jordan Miller's gone. So there's just a lot of holes there. That's
cattle.
Yeah, we need some cattle, but this is a really, really good piece, guys. So quality, and when I say that, I know you mentioned what you said about the May family. I don't know them personally. I don't know anything about them. I only know what I've read. Okay, in terms of football ability, Terrell May's got it all. And the back that's in England, as terrible as what he does off the field and whatever his family issues were, that guy can attack and defend. If ever Terrell May wants to come back and you're just talking footy only, I'd have him in a heartbeat.
Speaking of heartbeats, these guys were a few beats short of being up to Benji's standards. So 5 guys breached for the failing in the fitness test. 3 of them were meant to face the board. So the 5 ended up being named as Heath Mason, Brandon Shumath, Solomon Fatape, Sione. Which Fano was it?
Sione.
And
Heath Mason.
No, I've said Heath Mason.
Oh,
the guy in the middle. How do you pronounce his name again?
I don't know. Just give it a Google search.
Fatape?
No, Fatape. You got Fatape, Tumeth, Mason.
Someone.
Jordan Miller?
No, it's not Jordan.
He's gone. Yeah.
Matamua.
No, it's not Matamua. No, it wasn't Matamua.
Wasn't it?
No.
Not important.
I should have written it down. Anyway, what are your thoughts, guys, on these 3 of them facing the board and a couple of just basically Benji we're talking about the Storm and how Sean Ball thought their preseason was much harder. Do you think Benji's and he's been at other clubs and seen what other clubs are doing?
I'm not sure how it works at the West Tigers. So
thanks, Jason.
They're getting in trouble for not coming back at a certain fitness level already. Is that correct? So because our preseason's just starting now, so they've obviously been given some homework.
They didn't hit some markers.
Okay, so so they've obviously the club has given them some guidelines that you have to be a certain weight, do certain things, whatever, and come back, and that's how you got to be. And if you're not, there's trouble. It's a little bit weird. I would probably be handing out those breaches if you've started preseason with us and you're not meeting the standards. So, look, I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think it just shows that the club means business. We're not taking our preseason lightly. They want to really lift the standards and get everyone on board. And if they ask our players to be at X and they're at X minus 10%, then why not? They're breaching their contract. But again, I really don't know too much about it. A couple of those players aren't really in our first grade squad, but I mean there are, like Fatah Ape is obviously and Sione is, but
it's Latu, not sorry,
Latu.
I did this the other day. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a halfback.
Latu.
Oh well, he needs to sort himself out because he's on $500,000 a year. So yeah, okay. Look, it's good that they're doing it, but again, I don't know much about it. But again, if the club is setting standards, I'm all for it. They just can't accept mediocrity anymore. We've had mediocrity for 13 years, and 2025 needs to be different.
I saw Matt Rogers on SEN saying that they should sack the players which I think, getting ahead. I think that's, I just think it's just Benji just saying, come on, boys. It is November. There's plenty of time. There's still a few months. They're about to go away for Christmas, so hopefully not too much Christmas pudding.
Did they go into detail about what was actually how short of their fitness requirements there were, or whatever the case may be?
No.
Because
well, the teams they never talk about. They don't publicly release fitness test results with players. It's always hush hush with that thing. So, I would love to know what player benches what and that sort of thing with the players and stuff.
Yeah.
But
it's probably RLPA regulated that information stays private, I would imagine. The only thing that generally gets released is speed info, like how fast players are.
With the GPS of the game, kind of tracks that anyway.
Yeah.
So,
I think the disappointing thing is they're all young players. That's actually quite disappointing.
Like all young players with a lot of potential who just seem to have
they're just not taking full advantage of it.
Standards up.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of thinking young players don't get enough discipline, Johnny Bateman, who's still in England, and the West Tigers asked him to come back to get into training, and he said, no, I've still got more time off. And then his manager's gone to RLPA, and they've said, oh, no, he did an appearance, something or other, so he can stay in England for a little bit longer in this little Mexican or British standoff that they're having at the moment. Rob, what's your thoughts on Johnny Bateman?
I really don't know the ins and outs of it, but as a supporter, I think the whole thing's been a schmozzle. We played South on the Central Coast in round 20. They made him captain.
Oh, last year.
Yeah. This season that's just passed. We lost whatever it was, 42-28. 2 days later, it's being reported he's had an argument with Benji. Benji's being too nice to the young players, blaming all the senior players. John Bateman takes exception to that because obviously he thinks he's giving his all. And suddenly Richo says, well, I'm shipping him off to England just to save some salary cap space we had 7 rounds left, one of which was a bye, so we're only saving 6 games. The guy was on a 4-year deal. He was in his second year. I know he only played 12 games for us in 2024, but I think he's a big piece of our team. I know he did a lot of ill discipline in a lot of games. I personally think that was out of frustration. If I had the choice of having John Bateman on my team or in the opposition, I'd rather he was on my team personally, but I know a lot of people will disagree with me there. It seems like the differences aren't going to be sorted out, and this is just about basically, I'm standing my ground. You want me to play somewhere else, you're going to have to fork out 500,000, 600,000, 700,000, whatever the case may be. But it's a shame because, we've still got to replace those minutes. We've had other back rowers come in that don't get 80 minutes out, and you got to play basically 2 players to replace his position. He played 12 games in 2024, 9 of which he played 80 minutes. So we need to find a back rower that's going to play the 80 minutes. And who knows, maybe if we knew this was going to pan out like this with John Bateman, we would have kept Isaiah Papali'i. I don't know, but I just think the whole thing's a schmozzle. One thing I do know, as ugly as it is, I do trust Richo. I'm sure Richo will work it out the best way possible. But I don't want to get back to the Pascoe era where, we've got the, Madalinos and the Packers and the Reynolds and the, Chris McQueen's all in reserve grade on massive money. And I feel like we could be going down that path if, we've got Olam having operations and, Latu is on 500,000 and he's not going to be starting as a first grader, and that's big money. And I'm happy to keep Latu, one, because he's talented, and two, he's there just as that backup in case Lockie does go elsewhere. But I'm sure if Lockie does stay with our club, Latu's not going to want to play behind Romy and Lockie for the next 3 or 4 years, so we'll end up releasing him. But I just don't want too much dead money. And again, I feel like this Bateman thing's going to pan out, that we're paying over $500,000 for him to go play at Manly. I just think in a perfect world, I love them to sort out their differences and just, play on. But I guess if John Bateman has totally disrespected Benji Marshall and called him names and said, you treated me like shit and this, that, and the other, and carried on like a pork chop, I can understand why the club do want to move him on, because obviously we want to set standards, and Benji should be the most respected player in that, or person in that football department. So 100%. Just a real tricky one. I don't know what you guys think, but I just think it's an absolute mess, and it's a shame because he's on massive money, 4-year deal. And with 2 of those years to go, and we could do with him this year. Like, who are we going to replace him with?
Yeah, that's the thing. As a player,
I
think I'd like him to stay. It's like you said, is the relationship with Benji. Yeah,
but let's just say you're happy with a downgrade and a promising player, for example, like Ruben Porter. Okay. Ruben Porter's not going to play 80 minutes. You're going to need someone to fill in 30 minutes of those 80 minutes. I just think if they can, it'd be in a perfect world, like I said, I'd love them to be able to sort out their differences. The reality is, I don't think it's going to happen. So I don't think he'll be with us, which gets us back to 29 spots and then another roster spot available for another potential person.
Yeah, Lefayman. Righto, let's get into the 2025 draw.
Did you have anything to say on that, by the way, with Bateman? Sorry.
I can see
we didn't ask Aaron's opinion on Bateman.
No, you guys pretty much summed it up. I agree that I think.
Look at him; he's chomping at the bit. He wants to get into these. We're going to get into the analytics.
Geez, trying to embarrass me.
Righto, let's start with the big stadium. So I did originally have this as the CommBank section, but as I'll mention in a minute, it's not just CommBank. So Easter, which is not till round 7, a late Easter this year. So that is against the Eels at Parramatta, our home game. A lot of people very annoyed at this one. Then in round 14, we're playing the Panthers on a Sunday afternoon at CommBank. And then round 22, a Sunday 2 p.m. against the Doggies. And then in round 24, we are heading to the Sydney Football Stadium for our first home game, I guess, since 2000 and when did we play that? 2012?
12?
Yeah, 2012 we last played. And we've had a good game against Manly when Lottie Security got a hat-trick.
Isn't that the one we did the watch-along?
It was. Yeah, we did too.
A couple of seasons ago?
Yeah, that was good fun. What are your thoughts on our big stadium matchups, all Sydney teams? So obviously, hopefully some big crowds.
I honestly think they've picked 3 for the CommBank really good matchups. Obviously, everyone can hate the Eels one as much as they want to, but considering we alternate home ground duties with them, it was always going to be the case that it was going to be there, unless the club decided to move it to a core stadium again. But given the fact that one of the games had been moved to Allianz by the NRL, most likely they weren't going to have 2 at CommBank, 1 at a core, and 1 at Allianz. So, but overall, I really like the 3 games that we've got at CommBank in particular. Eels, obviously a big grudge match. The fact that we beat them on Easter Monday this year, and they'll be looking for revenge for that one. And obviously we'll be looking for revenge from Spoon Bowl. Panthers in round 14 is during the Origin period, but the players are not in Origin camp for that game. So the Luai versus Cleary volume 1, I guess you could say, with the full teams, looks to be an absolute beauty. I love that it's a free-to-air game as well. And I had a feeling going into the whole draw reveal that our first game against the Panthers probably would be free-to-air because they would want to put a big billing on that rivalry, and they will, or that matchup, and they will play it up for the week in the lead up to the game. Bulldogs as well, with how they've kind of had a bit of a renaissance this year. Another big Sydney rivalry. And yeah, I don't mind the Eagles at Allianz. I actually didn't know about the Indigenous Festival when I was going through the draw, and I saw this in round 24, and I'm like, is that a typo? Has that been messed up? And then I saw our girls at Allianz that same day as well for a double header, and I'm like, okay, maybe something's going on here. So I did a little bit of digging and discovered the Indigenous Festival. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense, but I do wonder how that's going to work when it comes to memberships, considering CommBank members paid for the 4 games and 5 games with the flexi or whatever. But
do we think our fans are going to get first crack at tickets for the Eels game? I think.
If you got a membership, you're guaranteed a ticket. Yeah,
but like, I think that I don't want the Eels fans to be able to get tickets at the same time as us.
Well, they did that to us.
Otherwise, this is, then this is just another Pascoism, and it's a Shane Richo sort of, bad thing. I think it's their home ground. I think we should have first dibs at the tickets, get as many as we want, and then leave them a smaller portion. There's nothing worse than having your own home game and getting out cheered. It'll feel like we're the Gold Coast Titans.
Hopefully that doesn't happen. I hope people don't boycott it because they're annoyed that it's at Parramatta.
I think it's stupid personally, but it is what it is. I think Acor would have been better because we would have got 50,000. We would have got double the amount easy.
Easter show's on at the same time. Like, I'm more annoyed at it being not at a core because I think it'd be such a massive.
It's an event, yeah.
Just they get at Good Friday between the Dogs.
That annoys me more than playing Para. I don't really care. The new Para Stadium doesn't feel the old Para Stadium kind of, maybe because I'm getting on a bit, but the old Parramatta Stadium kind of felt like Para territory. But since they've knocked it all down and built a bit of a high-tech one, it doesn't feel that much Para-ish. It doesn't annoy me that much. Maybe because we live nearby, it doesn't annoy me as much as well. But just a core stadium, like you said, I reckon if these two teams, round 7, I mean, who knows? They might not have many wins between them, but two teams are a real rivalry. We get more than a CommBank. CommBank will sell out.
It's going to sell out. It's going to sell out for sure. And that's why we should get first dibs of the tickets.
And they did lock us out. Who kicked the field goal a couple of years ago? Jacko kicked the field goal. I was one of probably, a couple thousand Tigers fans that managed to get in there and amongst a Parramatta home game because it was so hard to get tickets. And as much as I despise everything about that Parramatta club, I would like to see 40,000 West Tigers fans and 20,000 Eagles fans pack into a core stadium and a semi-final atmosphere like we've seen in previous years. It's just
we've had massive crowds at a core stadium.
$10 tickets for kids. Open up the top tiers and stuff. Make it a massive crowd, and then you walk out and you go ride some roller coasters and the Ferris wheel, get a show bag. Like, it's just.
And those big crowds we were getting back then, Josh, the Eels were like wooden spooners and stuff too. Like we were going badly. They were going badly. 40, 50,000 sometimes.
Yeah, 2014. I was there. I think it was 55 or something. Yeah, it was a big crowd. If it was non-Easter and we're playing Para, I probably wouldn't care that much. But the fact that it's
it just burns me. I just don't want to give it home. Like 2 points can be the difference between making the finals and not, and especially the Eels as well. They had such a bad 2024, so they're another team that we're competing against to move into the 8.
Does it make, if it's our home game and there's more of our fans there, it doesn't really give Eels that much. Like how much of
that helps, but that helps. That helps. I imagine going there and there's 3/4 of the fans are Eels fans. That's just ludicrous.
Yeah.
The other thing that kind of plays into it a little bit is it's not our first meeting with the Eels for the season. We've got them in round 2, so
third and a trial as well.
So we play them 3 times in the space of 10 weeks, including the preseason challenge game, and it's a little bit nuts that we're playing the same team so close together so early in the season.
That could be a good thing,
and the fact that they're kind of that game against them also at CommBank when it's their home game could play a little bit into, well, how does that game turn out? How does that kind of make the round 7 return clash look? Or is there going to be any more bad blood than there probably already is after that first clash? And it's a bit of an, I guess, an interesting situation. I do agree it probably should have been at a core. I just kind of knew it wasn't going to be.
Yeah. Someone asked before, Bren said on Facebook with the membership. The membership will include the SFS. If you've got a full season membership, you'll get a ticket for the SFS game.
Yeah, some of the memberships with Campbelltown only, and then the Leichhardt only, and I'm sure it's probably Commonbank only. You're paying for X amount of games, and you get one extra game that you can choose where you want to use it at. So you could use that for that particular game if that's the one you want to go to.
What I will say quickly, what they've done the last couple of years, where we hosted the Easter Monday game at Accor, they basically gave members a code where you could go into
the redeem tickets.
Yeah, like a redeem ticket and not have to pay for it, because you basically get a free ticket because you had access to that game and it was moved. And I have a feeling it will likely be the same thing.
Yeah. On to our Western Sydney Stadium, Campbelltown. We have straight up against this. It's annoying, but I literally said when they released the round one draw without the ground, I'm like, please. I love Campbelltown, but Friday night at 6 o'clock, and a lot of people are saying, well, it's better for people to live out there. Well, not necessarily, because you might live in Campbelltown and still work like
wherever.
75% of the city works towards the city. So there's still Campbelltown residents might not be able to go to the game because they got to battle the traffic to get home in time to see it. So yeah, it's going to be a battle. We're going to have to try and knock off work early or something to get it, which is a shame. I really hope we can still, despite the shit, it's a team that's 2 hours up the freeway. So the Knights fans, that'd be
pretty bad for them too, won't it?
For them, if you're a Knights fan.
I got to be honest, guys. I love that it's at Campbelltown. Okay, because Campbelltown gets shat on every year. They don't get a game till round 4 or round 8 or round 9, or our season's just about done before we get there. And 2, it's a much better thing than having the bye. We had the bye last year. Like everyone was getting all dressed up to go to the party, and we were stuck at home.
Yeah,
doing nothing. Like I don't care if it's on Thursday at 6 o'clock. I'll probably be there at Thursday at 6 o'clock for Friday 6 o'clock. So I love it out at Campbelltown. I love going to the club next door, catching up with everyone, going next door, and hopefully we can really just get the year off to a good start. Get that MacArthur area behind us. Get a win. Get everyone involved from the start of the year. Not by the way, guys, we're coming out here in round 5. Your West Tigers too. It doesn't work like that. Get them hooked into the club. Let's get a win and let's get the ball rolling for 2025.
We've also got some demons to exercise as well, considering our last game of the
season.
You
certainly do too. Yeah. You certainly do too.
Yeah, me.
We'll have the cameras there. We're going to try and every single home game this year. We're going to try and take the camera out and do a post-game rant. So keep an eye out for us after the home games next year. After that game at Campbelltown. Be about 8 o'clock. We'll film some things and we'll go in and get a feed at the Leaguesy after that. So 2 Sunday 6:15 p.m. games at Campbelltown, which is new for this year, but
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's not bad, not great.
Not great for them though.
I will say quickly, not necessarily new. The first 5 rounds, in particular, when it's still daylight savings and really freaking hot,
it's weird.
They start Sundays at 4 o'clock and have the 4 o'clock and the 6:15 before they relocate to the 2 and the 4.
Yeah.
So early season is fine. I don't remember if there's a reason why the round 11 one has that time slot as well.
That's the Bunnies.
It's not like any sort of holiday weekend or anything.
That should be a good crowd too. A lot of Rabbitohs fans. Apparently, more Rabbitohs fans live in Western Sydney than they do.
That's interesting because I heard we had, I read the club email and it said we had something like 7 Sunday afternoon games. And I figured surely one 11. Of them would be, was it 11 at Sunday afternoon games, is it?
Yeah, 11 between 2 and 4.
Yeah, and like the games out at Campbelltown, none of them are fit into that. None of them fit into that time slot.
I don't mind. It's better than Friday 6:15. The only thing is, you can't get the club after and get.
We'll just get there before.
Oh no, wait. The club email said home games specifically, so it's 8 of our 12 home games are in a 2 or 4 o'clock Sunday time slot.
And look at those, and none of them fit in there.
And then following Origin, what Origin that be? Is Origin 3?
That is Origin 2.
2, which is in Suncorp?
Perth.
Perth, is it?
Perth is game 2. Suncorp is
Sydney-
game 1.
It's Suncorp, Perth, Sydney.
Yep.
I thought we were playing at an Asian stadium there for a
Um,
second. Suncorp.
Don't get us cancelled.
No, I won't get you cancelled. It's too early. It's too early for that. Give me 5 or 6
You've already
rounds.
tried that already.
Give me 5 or 6 rounds. Yeah.
The Raiders on a Friday night. The Raiders, will they have any Origin? Happily, he doesn't play anymore.
No.
Horsburgh,
Sucks.
maybe.
Yeah,
He's had a couple of rep
And we
games.
might
He
have-
might get another one if he plays well.
We might have Romy.
Appy potentially
and
as well could
Appy.
make
No,
it back.
Appy won't be back. I'm calling that now. Madge.
Yeah.
If Madge is
I'm
going to
fine
play
with that.
Robson
No,
after.
Madge is not the coach
Oh, of
anymore.
course, Madge isn't
Madge-
there. I
Madge
forgot
is
about
gone.
that.
There's going to be a new coach.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Well, then there's hope. After
Sheensy.
all, God no, please.
Fun fact as well, Josh, just on that real quick. Round 16 Raiders this year. Round 16 Raiders. Same round, same team, same venue.
Adam Dwayne game.
That was the Adam Dwayne
We
runaway.
played him earlier in the day though. It wasn't an 8 o'clock game.
I'm pretty sure it was a Sunday.
Sunday
it was
afternoon.
It was a Sunday 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
I'm pretty sure it was the Channel 9 game on
Yeah,
the Sunday.
I think
yeah.
it was.
But same round still.
Yep, there you go. You do see a few consistencies across the years for some reason.
Just a really
Stuff like
cold time to be playing at Campbelltown. But I'm kind of glad that our last Campbelltown game is before it gets super duper cold, like July, August levels of cold.
Leichhardt Oval has just 3 games this year. I think I said this on the show as towards the back end, knowing that we're only going to have 3 Leichhardt games. I said, please make them Sunday afternoon.
And they have.
Thank you to 9 Fox. 2 of them are Sunday, 4 p.m. on Channel 9, one of them at 2 p.m. So we've got the Sharkies Sunday for Anzac round. So it's the middle of the long weekend. We have the Anzac Day.
Anzac Day is a Friday.
It's the Fridays.
Yeah.
The back end.
So
of
that's the
long weekend.
27th.
Against Sharkies. Round 20 against the Titans. And round 25 against the Cows, which is our last home game of the season, I believe, off the top of my head. Look, I don't mind the Tigers getting. I mean, the Sharkies. We saw the Tigers play the Sharks there last year.
We
There was
killed
quite
them.
Round 3,
but there were
32
quite
to
a
6.
lot of
Friday
Sharks.
night though, wasn't it? We played them on a Friday night.
Friday 6 o'clock. It might have been.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of Sharks fans there. But
Well, what I do like about
Cowboys
this is
is a
we're playing
tradition.
2 Queensland teams. So
Yeah.
that and being Leichhardt Sunday afternoon, it's going to be
nice.
packed.
Pack the
And,
place
and
out.
yeah,
It's gonna be
90
Majority
exactly.
of our fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just about everyone will be Tiger supporters there,
Yeah.
so that'll be great.
no, they're going to be really good. So
And I know NRL clubs are allowed to request up or make up to 3 requests for their draw. For example, Manly made requests to the NRL to have a bye for Magic Round. They also
they
requested.
asked for that, did they?
Yeah, they did. They also requested to play the Broncos at home. They also wanted to get the Roosters and Eels at home, which obviously they normally get the Eels anyway, but they didn't. So my thoughts around this one is the Tigers probably put a request in for Cowboys at Leichhardt, considering it's
Our
20
record.
years since the premiership.
Yeah, of
So
course.
that's probably going to be like
25,
a
2005,
potentially a
yeah.
retro jersey.
Yeah.
Commemorative retro jersey for that round.
Mm.
With late in the season, hopefully we're still in contention for finals at that point. Get a nice big crowd Sunday 4 o'clock to not necessarily celebrate the 2005 premiership, but look back on it fondly and look ahead as well.
Beautiful. And if it's anything like, the first semi we played against them,
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice.
Even
as
better.
well.
And we've got Hodjo back.
Yeah, yeah.
He won't be doing the
all
kicking
coaching,
though.
yeah, they won't be able to commemorate. They're all on the freaking coaching staff. Magic round, as we kind of just touched on, we have the Dragons on the Saturday evening. I hate that we're playing the Dragons at Magic round. I love the Magic round concept. I've already looked at flights to try and go up for this because everyone says Magic round is pretty incredible. But the fact that we're playing the Dragons, it's a game that I prefer to be in Sydney. I wish we could swap. Maybe one of the other. What are the other home games that we got? Maybe Titans.
Well, you want to play Queensland team in Queensland? Righto, Justin.
No, as in
Righto, Justin.
no.
I mean,
It's
out
Titans.
of the 4 Queensland teams,
It's
the
Magic round,
Titans would
doesn't really
probably
matter.
be my preference if we were to get one of them for Magic Round.
But it doesn't matter. It's only really a Broncos
Well, when we
Dolphins.
played Saints at
Suncorp, who
Campbelltown,
cares?
when we played Saints at Campbelltown, it felt like there were more St George supporters there that day. So
I-
I'm happy to play them in Queensland. What I am surprised about, I'm sure obviously the Saturday part of the Magic Round is a triple header.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we got the feature billing because that's the gun game.
The free-to-air game.
Yeah, and
when you look at some of the other games that round, obviously they've put the Panthers Broncos game at the 4 o'clock slot on the Sunday. I can't remember off the top of my head who the Eels are playing. I think they might have been playing the Sharks or something.
Friday night.
But that could have potentially been a game that got chosen for the marquee slot. Raiders and Storm at 6:35 or whatever it is on the Sunday night looked like another potential game that could have gone to this particular time slot.
Is it me or is it just being stupid, or is feels like the NRL feel like we're going to do something next season? It feels like the NRL are giving us some of these, these good games on the Sunday afternoon.
It's also Channel 9. Channel 9 choose what games they want.
Well, and they know we're popular. Okay, well, I hope we're doing well because, that'll. I think maybe we do make the trip to Queensland.
It's also 2 rounds earlier this year than last year, but that's also got to do with the fact that the NRLW season's been extended, and the fact that they wanted to start women's Origin at Suncorp the day before Magic Round like they did this year. So Magic Round being a little bit earlier, I mean, at worst we could only be 8-0 or 0-8 going into it. So, I mean, not as dire straits as the last couple of years, but
But yeah, just to go back to my point, I have a lot of mates to go for the Dragons, and it's the game I'd like to go to. With them, it's one of those rival. I'm looking at it from because at the end of the day, it's all you want your team to win, but a day out of the footy and Dragons are just, I don't know, mate, I've got a bit of a soft spot for the.
I'd also love to go to Magic Round at some point, at least before this deal of ours expires, to play the home game there, because I mean it guarantees us that we're part of the billing. You see a lot of I guess content creators on the socials are kind of do their mock rounds for things like round 1 and Magic Round, and I saw a couple where they're like, let's leave the Tigers out of Magic Round because they claim the spoon. And I'm like, if you do any modicum of research, you will see that we are contracted to play a home game there.
And we've won some games in Magic Round too. It's not like we go up there and lose every year.
We're 3-2.
Yeah,
we've beaten the Panthers up there. I mean, that was before they got good.
2019. Yep.
Righto, road games. So round 2, we have a Sunday Arvo Combank against the Eels. So that is their home game. Round 3, up to KO Stadium. First time I don't think we've played it.
We have, but we haven't played the Dolphins there because we played a couple of games there during the COVID season.
Okay.
Then Suncorp come back to Sydney.
Ouch.
Then go back to Brisbane.
That's not the worst thing. It's not the worst.
Yeah.
Like at least we got a taste of it with a decent crowd, and we go back there a week later.
The travel.
I know, but it's
the train, and it's not ideal.
We might have to stay up there for a week,
and
Josh.
Then they might fly from Brisbane to Newcastle Airport because you've got the Knights in Newcastle after that, and a few weeks 4 weeks after that down in Melbourne, and then 3 weeks after that they're up in.
So we've got the Eels in round 2 and 7, and we've got the Knights in round 1 and 6.
Yes,
wow, this is weird.
That happens. Yeah, that happens a lot. The draw. There's always.
This is weird.
The worst one was 2018 when we played the Storm in rounds 2 and 5.
Well, let's hope we do well against the Eels in round 2, because then there'll be a big outroar about, well, hey, we're taking a home game there 5 weeks later.
And then second half of the season, round 17, we have Manly at 6 o'clock Friday at Four Pines Stadium. Round 18, or Brookie, as traditionalists will call it, round 18.
So is that Origin round 3? Game 3, is that for the Roosters game or the Warriors game?
That's for the Roosters.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So Roosters. So does that mean Origin players are out?
Yes, that is the week the Origin players are out.
That's good for us. But I mean, we'll be missing hopefully we'll be missing
Teddy's
Lua.
probably not going to get picked.
Teddy's not going to get
maybe the new coach might select him.
Yeah.
But
I don't think
Lindsay
so.
Lindsay Collins will get picked.
Yep. So it's a good one. If there's a team you want to play against, they're up there.
I do kind of wish we got the Roosters a little bit earlier in the season, considering
late in the year.
the late season injuries they
Yonks.
copped this year,
Yeah.
particularly in that game against the Raiders. They've got a few players who are going to be out until like June or July. Would have been nice to get them before that, but well.
Well, they'll be missing Manu and Suali'i, and they'll definitely be missing Terrell May. So, so I'm happy to take the Roosters on now.
We have New Zealand in Auckland. That's Origin backup. So obviously post-Origin for that one. That's in the middle of the school holidays too. I did notice that. So if you want to take the kids to New Zealand in the winter holidays, that's smack bang in the middle of the school holidays. I did notice with that one. Panthers is at Combank in round 21, which will be pretty good, not having to go out to
7 weeks
to Penrith. They only have to go to
Yeah,
Parramatta.
7 weeks after we played them the first time as well. So another double up that's pretty close together.
And then to finish the year, we have at Canberra at Gold Coast. So
not a fan of that.
Yeah, a bit tough.
But you know what? If you've got to win, I don't think it matters where you play it.
Yeah.
If they're must-win
I mean,
games, you just got to
Canberra's-
win. That's it.
Is it a bit warmer by then? Canberra will still be pretty
Still be
August.
cold.
That's out.
It'll be cold
It'll
at
be
3 o'clock.
very, very late August. It'll still be
Yeah.
cold.
But yeah, Goldie to finish. Good place to have a Mad Monday, but fingers crossed it's not a Mad
It's not
Monday
Mad Monday yet.
for us. So, any thoughts on the away games, boys?
Nothing special for me. It all looks pretty straightforward. I don't like the 6 o'clock Friday game against the
At
Eagles.
Brookvale.
Yeah, that's.
Like how the fuck? How,
I know we haven't really done very well in those time slots,
Yeah.
but look, it is what it is. I think
Get the ferry
overall, I think the draw's been pretty favourable. But as I said to you guys in the Discord, I think our draw's been good the last couple of years, and we failed to take advantage of it. So, but it's definitely feels like it's more Tiger fan friendly, if that makes sense, in terms of watching games and stuff like that, as opposed to strategically determining who you're going to beat, or you might beat, or you might not beat. So, I think as long as we're doing good, and we can talk about the team a bit later, but I'm in love with our spine. I think our spine is second to none. And if we can just get a little bit more oomph in the forwards, and our outside backs can perform, which is an but if they can perform, then I think we could go a long way. And let's face it, guys, as a club, we just have to do it next year. There's just can't be effing talking about 2027 and 2028. We just got to get going next year, because if it all goes pear shaped, it's new coaches, it's new this, it's new that, it's reset, and everything's unstable again, and people want to get out and take advantage of certain clauses and go to other clubs, and we've had enough of that for too long now. So hopefully it all goes well.
We've got the draw that can help us get off to a pretty good start. You look at the first 4 or 5 rounds.
A lot of travel though.
There is a lot of travel. I'm
not good though.
I'm not a fan of having to.
Did you say no 5-day turnarounds?
No 5-day turnaround,
which is fantastic.
Yeah, they don't have a single 5-day.
That's great.
They've got, I think, like 6 or 7 6-day turnarounds, but those are a lot more manageable than the 5s. The main thing I'm not a fan, or the main 2 things I'm not a fan of with this draw, is the 5 trips to Queensland. Obviously, we play all 4 Queensland teams away, plus we're heading up there for Magic Round. And the fact that we end the season with 2 away games. I always feel like clubs in those last 2 rounds should have at least 1 home game.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
To kind of give fans
because a farewell, perhaps.
Yeah, and the fact that there's still 2 rounds after this to go. Let's just hypothetically say we're in contention for the finals going into those last 2 games. We don't get a single home game. We don't get a chance to celebrate potentially at the end of the season like the Dogs did this year. The ending of a horrendous drought, ours obviously being considerably worse than theirs. But I mean, the Queensland trips for the most part are fairly spread out, except for those 2 3 weeks apart. We're obviously up to Redcliffe and then back to Campbelltown and then back up to Suncorp. And the fact that we go to Gold Coast in the final round, like Josh said, is a pretty good place to end your season. It's obviously hard to say which teams are going to be in contention around that time of year, but there are a lot of matchups late in the season that could have ramifications on potential top 8, potential bottom 4, whatever else you think could be a possibility. I think overall it's a pretty solid draw. Yeah, just not a fan of having to go to Queensland 5 times. Plus, we've got to go to Melbourne. Plus, we go to Canberra. Plus, we go to New Zealand. So we've got quite a lot of traveling.
Might be a bit of bonding, though.
That might be the reason we didn't get the 5-day turnarounds, because we do have a lot more travel.
I had a quick look at some of the other clubs and how many 5-day turnarounds they've got. The Panthers had 2. Warriors, I don't think, had any. Or maybe they had 1, and then I looked at a few other clubs that I can't remember.
I mean, you got to think about the Warriors. They're flying every home game. They're going to fly across the ocean or sea.
Plus, they've got a home game in Magic Round as well, I think. So one of their home games is actually in Australia.
And if we take our West Tigers caps off for a second, like imagine there are some fans out there listening to us tonight that aren't Tigers fans, and we're talking about hard draw, difficult draw, soft draw. We came last. Like, who are we to say we're going to beat anyone? It's going to be a hard draw for us. Every game's hard for us. We came last. So I don't think it matters who we play when. I'm just happy we get the 6-day minimum turnarounds, which is great.
Yep.
And the boys get time to prepare every week, recuperate, sort out their bodies, sort out their injuries, and move on. So I think it's a good draw, and it's about us. We can't worry too much about other teams now. We've got to sort our own house out.
Carlo reckons we're about mid-pack for travel. We ranked 10 out of 8.
Yeah,
I guess being a Sydney club, we can't
that.
complain, really, can we? Going to go. Brandon sent us $15 super chats. He says, "G'day, boys. Happy birthday to your brother Josh." Yeah, thank you. Happy birthday, Kane. Is 27 today. Happy birthday, Kane, as well. He says, "My birthday is today." He sent us $15 on his own birthday.
It's ridiculous. We should be buying him a present.
Yeah, my present was to renew
Thanks,
my
Brandon.
membership for the first time since 2017. I have a lot more faith for 2025 with the draw and the roster we have now. Good on you, Brandon. He's paying us on his own birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Brando.
mate. Do we get Rob to do a rendition of Happy Birthday?
No chance.
Considering he did the rendition of Glory, Glory after the Rabbits game.
No, I haven't got my Marilyn Monroe outfit on tonight, mate, so I won't be doing that.
Actually, fun fact, it's not fun at all. The day before my brother died was the day
Definitely not fun.
Michael Hutchins died the day before.
In the 90s?
Yeah, 1997. My brother was born the next day, and then my brother just got married, and his first waltz song was "Never Tear Us Apart."
Wow.
Which is very fitting. So
it was.
Yeah, happy birthday and congrats on
Thanks, Brandon.
Getting married.
Thank you, Brandon.
To my brother, and thank you very much, Brandon. Sent us money on his own birthday. Good on you, mate. The teams that we played twice: the Knights, the Eels, the Warriors, the Cowboys, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Manly, the Sea Eagles, and the Titans. So we're talking about soft draw, hard draw. I think we're done pretty well.
I think that's a 6.5, 7 out of 10 in our favour. Yeah. I mean, the one negative there obviously would be Penrith. Okay, and I think,
but it's a juicy matchup. Though.
But when you look at those other teams, in particular, the Knights, the Warriors, even the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Sea Eagles, Titans, they don't travel. They don't do well away from home. They're not good teams away from home. The Eels can do okay away from home. The Panthers can do well away from home. But the other teams aren't, traditionally good winning teams away from home. So I don't think that's the worst thing. I think we could have copped a worse, batch of 8.
And you look at that, and just basically from the point of view of where those teams finished on the ladder this year, you've got one of this year's top 4, obviously that being the Panthers, but I had a feeling they were going to do that this year, considering Luai and Cleary is like top quality content, get your popcorn out sort of content. And then from 5th to 8th, we have 3 of them, which are the Knights, Cowboys, and Sea Eagles. So, and I mean, there's a lot of questions around potentially some of those teams. Cowboys, no Chad Townsend. Like, there's a lot of questions around a lot of teams.
Hopefully Turbo's not playing for Manly by then.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. I've always just found it weird how close together they put these matches sometimes. Like we mentioned it briefly before, the Knights and the Eels. We have 4 games against the Knights and the Eels in the first 7 weeks of the competition. Like by the end of round 7, we've played 2 teams twice, and there are still many teams that we haven't even said hello to, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's not too bad.
Speaking of close together, we have last year we started with a bye. This week we had to wait all the way to round 12 for our first bye, and then we have another bye at round 15. So byes I guess mid-season, that's not such a bad thing. Not too much football in the middle of the seasons. Also, Origin as well. We'll see.
We couldn't have asked for much better in regards to those first two buys. Because they're in the major Origin rounds, we don't have to worry about not having players playing for New South Wales or Queensland or whatever.
We worried? Romy's probably only.
Look, again, I don't want to overhype it. I think Terrell May will be a star for us, and he'll probably be in the rep conversation as well.
Lachlan Galvin.
Lockie Galvin's a future immortal, so he'll always be in the conversation.
Maybe.
But I mean,
maybe not next year. I reckon he'll play Origin.
Maybe, I can't
how
wait.
old's Moses? Once Moses moves on,
Moses, what, 28 or something? 29?
28, 29. He's a similar age to Brooksy, and I think he's around 28, 29 as well.
Yeah. Couple more years.
But yeah, round 12, round 15, buys 2 free points and not having to worry about having players missing out on playing for us because they're playing Origin. You can't ask for much better than that. And then we get our third buy, with only 4 weeks left to play after it, heading into possibly a finals campaign. So you get a month of good footy under your belt. If you then go on to play finals, you're well prepared. There are a couple of teams that have a buy around that sort of period as well. But I mean, yeah, our Origin period is very friendly to us. Like, you look at it as a whole, we only have to play one team out of the 3 major buy rounds, that being the Roosters, and then we get 3 teams on the backup weekends in the Cowboys, the Raiders, and the Warriors.
Cowboys will have a few players. They always tend
possibly. I think that's a 3-day turnaround from game 1 as well, because that's on the Saturday. So our Origin period has been brutal to us in the past, but this is exceptionally friendly.
Yeah.
Benjamin said Moses is 30. Wow, that's
wow.
Okay, he's probably only got a couple. Might only have a couple. Although Sherry Evans is 30. He's
36, I think.
Yeah, he's
30
old.
is late 20s, isn't it?
Not if you look at my knees.
I'm surprised he hasn't retired from rep footy yet.
Yeah, he's still playing well.
He's
35.
If something happens to Cleary, he's the halfback, like for Origin. Like he's like he played for Australia.
DCE.
I thought you were talking about Moses. Sorry.
Yeah. NRLW. I'll let you do NRLW. As what's
what a time to throw to him when he's having a drink of water.
Having a drink. No, he's preparing, getting the
vocal
ready.
cords all warmed up. Yeah.
I can put this mic down.
So we've got 2 games at Campbelltown for our girls. Round 2, our first clash with the new Bulldogs, who will have a couple of our players lining up for them. Thursday night prime time, and round 11, the Warriors. So both of the 2 brand new teams to the NRLW are the 2 teams we meet out of Campbelltown. The Warriors is a Sunday 12 o'clock game. We've got 2 games at Leichhardt as well. Round 3 versus the Titans, Sunday 11:50, which also acts as a doubleheader with the men's Titans game after it. And round 8 versus the Cowboys, Sunday 6:15, which also acts as a doubleheader with the men's Cowboys game, which is played before the NRLW. So we've got 2 doubleheaders at Leichhardt, one with the girls playing before and one with the girls playing after. We've got 2 other home games. We're listed as a home team for the round 5 inaugural Magic round for the NRLW, which is being played at Newcastle, where the 2:15 I think I meant to type Saturday time slot for that one.
Not good enough, as
round 7 against the Dragons, which acts as a double header with our men's Manly game, also at Allianz Stadium, Sunday 11:50. Our away games, we start the season away to the Broncos, Saturday 12:45. Round 4, we are away to the Sharks, who will be looking for some revenge after we kind of force them to have a good hard look at themselves heading into their finals campaign. Sunday 6:15. We've got back-to-back games in Newcastle after Magic round in round 5. We head back up there to play the Knights in round 6, Saturday 3:15. Round 9 versus the Raiders, Saturday 12:45, which also is a double header with our men's team who play immediately afterwards. And round 10, our final away game versus the Eels, Sunday 6:15, which is another double header after the NRL game between the Eels and the Knights. So my brief thoughts on the NRLW draw is it's actually really solid. I love the fact that we've got.
They play each other once.
Yes, every team plays each other once.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we've
Very
actually
good,
got double headers this year. But the thing that annoys me about that is the fact that 2 of our double headers are at Leichhardt when we did not have a single double header with our girls this season, which is a little bit confusing. Obviously, there was concerns about lack of facilities for the girls to.
So what's changed at Leichhardt? Because we still don't have the facilities.
Exactly what my
I'm confused.
is. That's exactly what my confusion is as well. The fact that there have been no changes yet, but they're still giving us those double headers.
Yeah. Well, it's smart that the Knights game is before the men's game as opposed to the season just passed.
Yeah.
Because I was at the Knights game up at Newcastle and we were leaving, and I'm telling you, everyone had left the stadium because we were right in the bleachers. By the time we got down to the ground level, there was literally, a couple of hundred people left in the stadium. So the girls had no one watching the game. So I would rather go up earlier and get to watch that.
I do hope, though, that the Cowboys game at Leichhardt for the girls, considering that's after the men's, I do hope, because it's the Cowboys, because of the celebration surrounding 2005, maybe we could get a good, solid crowd stick around for the game. I'm sure.
Are we going to do it? Are we going to do a 20-year celebration? Is that on the cards? Or
I would imagine it is.
Surely.
The Panthers.
Well, that'd be a good way to keep people around.
Yeah, the Panthers just this year, I think, or just last year or whatever, did a 20-year celebration for their 03 premiership. And I'm pretty sure the Dogs this year as well had a 20-year celebration for their 04. So, and like make an old boys day out of it and things like that. So, I mean, I have a feeling the club will probably do something for it. And if they can incorporate the girls game into it and kind of build it up for the crowd to hopefully stick around, especially the lead up to the game, then that could work out really well. The tough teams that we have to play, for the most part, we have spread out. We've got both grand finalists in back-to-back weeks in rounds 4 and 5, so that's a tricky little period. But yeah, there are still a lot of questions around teams. Obviously, the Bulldogs and the Warriors teams aren't complete yet, so
we'll have Kezi back.
Is there any early indication that, I know it's like so far away from the start of the women's season, but is there any early indication about who we might be getting to our club and are we losing it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's way too early, isn't it?
We did get confirmation after the awards night of the players that were leaving.
Yep.
I was very disappointed to see Nevada George and Leanne Tafunga gone. That honestly broke my heart because I thought those two girls were really good for us.
You know where they're all off to?
No, I actually don't. The only departing
going with doggies.
Yeah, Ebony's the only departing player that I actually knew where she was heading. But yeah, and the other thing to mention is the NRLW, with the addition of 2 new teams, they are moving to a 6-team 3-week final series, which for those who know how the Super League works, it'll work in the exact same way. So week 1, first and second get the bye.
So NFL style.
Yeah, the old one.
Okay.
3 versus 6 and 4v5 with those 2 winners to play the 2 teams that have the bye. Yeah.
Okay.
I reckon the NRL should do top 10 once the Bears come in. They should do top 10.
Top 10? The season will go longer than
that.
The
finals
go
that would be
the
wild card.
Yeah, that would be our wild card version, wouldn't it?
1998, we had top 10.
We probably did too. We had 20 teams though, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Balmain came 13th or something.
I don't know if there were 10 teams making the finals. We probably came 11th.
I think the Chargers got the spoon from memory.
Okay.
Maybe the Magpies. I don't know. I was 10 years old.
That's a good memory though.
That's a team name I haven't heard before.
That was one of the Gold Coast. Yeah, one of the Gold Coast
Giants
resuscitated teams.
Chargers. It was cool jerseys though. Gold Coast Chargers jerseys worth a fortune now if you got an original. Shouts to, was it Lowell Milford that went to the Chargers?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I remember Lowell Milford. I don't know if he went there. Though.
Yeah, I loved him. He was one of my favorites when I was a kid. As already kind of gone through that. Statsman, got anything for us? Number wise, I don't know if everyone's brains out there you've thrown so much.
Just give us like you looked at the draw. Just give us an early indication of be honest, like just be objective. Where are we going to finish?
I mean, looking at the teams we played twice, I think we can get a good solid number of wins from those games. We've got a couple of, obviously, the Panthers games. I'd love to see if we could split games with the Panthers, 1 win, 1 loss. That'd be amazing. If we can get, we play 8 teams twice. If we can get 8 wins from those games, honestly think that's already an improvement. I think we're looking
Well,
at maybe
is.
winning around 10, looking at the draw, looking at the travel, looking at everything like that. If we win 10 games, I think that probably puts us around maybe 11th, 12th.
Okay.
Which I think is a really solid improvement from this year. But I will say, Gus Gould on Twitter said with the addition of Terrell May, he thinks we're now a top 8 team, and that's his first call for the.
That's
this
what I
season,
think
which is
too.
incredibly high praise.
Yeah.
I'm kind of trying to temper my expectations a little bit because I've been hurt a lot before.
Yeah, of course, we all have.
By my own.
We all have, but definitely no expectations. But we can come 8th. But again, we need so many things to go right. We need our like that spine that we mentioned, health exactly. Like we don't want some. Yeah, we don't have much depth. We don't have much depth, and that's the thing. We need those key guys to be on the field for most of the year.
I think that a lot of travel in the first half of the year, there'll be a lot of new players, bit of teething issues. We can get to that first. If we can win 6 of our first 12, I reckon we can make the final. So be at 50% then, and have a strong run home with a lot of home games in that second half. We might be, we're just going to nail those games that are winnable.
I will say with the fact that we have in the first 10 rounds, we've got 3 trips to Queensland and a trip to Melbourne. It's great to get those interstate trips all out of the way nice and early while the team is still kind of fresh and running, because
second half of the year should be better.
Second half of the year, we stay in Sydney a lot more, and by then fatigue is starting to hit. The niggly injuries are starting to hit, and at that point, staying in Sydney is really beneficial. And we only have to really leave to go to New Zealand, and plus, I think, 2 more trips to Queensland.
2005 was a bit like that.
In what way?
A lot of home. I feel like we were in Sydney a lot in the run home.
Not necessarily. We did have some home games, but we had some travel. I remember going to Canberra pretty late in the year when we were down 14-0 and came back to win 22-14.
We played them at Campbelltown.
We had some Campbelltown games there. We definitely had. We did have. I remember Campbelltown being packed out. It was crazy good.
That game was.
We were Melbourne's second last game. I think we had Penrith last game at Accor or whatever it was called back then. Just Homebush, Telstra, or whatever. Good year. Good year,
and
2005.
I was about to mention it, but you've just brought it up.
What's
on screen,
that?
So
the time slots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, lots of Sundays.
How good.
So Sunday Arvos 11, as you said earlier. Sunday nights 2. So 13 Sunday games.
Out of 24.
You can always throw Monday in there because Monday of a public holiday
Correct.
is like a Sunday. So it might as well be a Sunday.
Yeah.
So really 11, 14 of our games are the last day of football for the weekend, which is it's pretty awesome. So
out of the Sydney games, sorry, Josh, out of the Sydney games, it's kind of weird that the one game that's hard for people to get to will be round 1. And every other game looks like there's just no excuse. There's no excuse for West Tigers supporters not to get out there and support the team. So
obviously Sunday 4 p.m. is the Channel 9 televised game, and it's good to have a lot of those free-to-air time slots.
Everyone has KO now.
In this case, we've got 5. Not everyone has KO because they increase the prices, and it's really fairly expensive now, I think.
Foxtel, actually.
But in saying that, I have a question for you guys. What do you think of the 2 p.m. Sunday time slot? Because they've really loaded us up on the first game of the round on Sunday.
I love it.
I love it. It's warmer.
Yeah, I love it.
The sunshine, good for the kids, good for our content. We'll have good light for the content after the games as well.
I'm not worried about the only content I give a shit about is winning. That's all I care about.
Day football might suit
get
us.
to watch them and get to win.
The other brilliant thing is this bad boy right here. No Thursday games. Makes it so much easier, particularly for fans to get to our games.
Friday 6 p.m.
Yeah,
Friday 6 p.m.
I mean,
I love the Friday 6 p.m. when it's not my team. I love coming home and being out. It's obviously what it's for. We come home and you put footy on basically as soon as you walk in.
Get your early weekend fix.
Knock off, go to the pub and watch the footy straight away. I love it, but when it's your team, it fucking sucks.
But you know what? But like with round 1, I love the fact that we can watch the night's game and then we can watch the second game at 8 p.m. in the club next door and and hopefully celebrate a win and have a drink. And
Saturday 5:30.
True. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, it is what it is. Someone's got to take it. So super chats we already had.
Have you got any rants or anything?
Have you got the Discord there? My phone is acting as our camera at the moment. So patreon.com/Westlife. If you want to join the guys in the Discord, they got their own little channel. For those who don't know, Discord is basically a little chat room app. So once you sign up to the Patreon, I'll send you a link. You come into the little chat room. There's all different channels down the side. There's one for each sport: basketball, soccer, American football. I made a rugby union one the other day that someone asked for.
It's pretty much my primary chat now. So I don't do Facebook. I'm off Twitter now.
Yeah. You're on TikTok, though.
I'm off TikTok. I'm on TikTok, but I don't post anything there. So I'm just happy to, chat with you guys on the Discord.
Do we embarrass Josh by telling the listeners about what he didn't realize to do with your TikTok username?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my user TikTok name is RB3016, and I said you don't understand what 3016 means, and he didn't. And I kind of like just let him sweat on, and it was our grand final score. So hence the reason
Josh asked something else, or thought it might have been something else. Do you remember what it was you said, Josh?
It wasn't my age, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking birthday or something. It didn't pop in my head.
Yeah, but when you see it as 3016, it's not like 3016. That might have jogged your memory. But yeah, the Discord is fantastic. The people in there are great. I know we keep saying it. It's not
the best. Twitter about the dickheads. That's what it is.
Yeah, and
what's the new one? Blue Sky Mining.
And we can say things in there that, like, they're not inappropriate things, but we can say things in there that we can't say elsewhere. Like sometimes I do get info and I do get scoops and I do share it, but I'm not going to put it on Twitter or Facebook, whatever the case may be.
A little section, all the news, when news drops, if you don't have it.
I love our NFL channel. And look, to be honest, there's so many notifications go off that I actually turned all the notifications off. So I just go on there when I feel like going on there, because it'll just be beeping every 5 seconds.
And you've probably by then got 20 tags where people have been asking questions.
Yeah, and I sometimes wonder if people think I'm actually ignoring it, but I'll just go in when I feel like it, because I generally spend too much time on social media, and I've cut it down, and I've loved my life not being on social.
I wrote something as like, I've already posted that.
It was to do with the preseason challenge matchups.
Yeah.
So we'll get onto the rants here. Firstly, from Matamua Tumith Group, aka Wodos, says, comfortable with Panthers being the only of last year's top 4 teams that we played twice. The increase of free-to-air games will be big marquee mainstream attention to us. Fanua Pole Fan Club, aka Noons, instant reactions based on the draw. Which Discord player fan club is best suited to have the best 2025?
Lockie Galvin.
And now I think Josh gets excluded from this because he just jumped on the bandwagon of Jerome Luai. So we exclude you, but I
think it'll be a tie. It's
Sam Weller and Lockie.
Sam Weller and Lockie. No, I think I'm going to put Josh in there. Lockie and Romy. Guys, they are going to play rugby league like you've got Foxtel IQ on times 60. The boys are going to be going all sorts of different directions, and no one's going to be able to keep the fuck up with them. So I can't wait for these boys to lead our team and give us a really good season.
Quick tip from you then. Which of our halves is going to be on the same side of the field as Sam Weller?
Romy.
Romy's going to be given Sam Weller the ball.
Well, Sam Weller's on the left. Romy's a left-sided player with his left foot step. But in my opinion, and I'm hoping Benji does this, Romy will predominantly be a left-sided player, but I'm sure they've got a license to play both sides of the field.
I have a feeling they probably.
I think you'll find both halves on the same side of the field quite a bit, because Lockie likes the left side too. So they'll just be switching and flicking, but it's going to be really interesting to see how next year goes. And look, we're talking up Romy, but let's not forget too, if we're trying to be objective, that every halfback that's played in that Penrith system, and when I say halfback, like number 7, as Romy had to do while Cleary was out. Has succeeded in that Penrith system, but I think Romy's different because he's got all that individual skill, and he's always had that great left foot step, but he's actually got a right foot step now to straighten things up when he wants to attack. He's got a great kicking game. He was brilliant in Origin. Look, we're blessed to have him in our team, and the confidence he's going to give the rest of the squad is amazing, but I just want his winning mentality to rub off on everyone else. And he's not alone in that. I think Lockie's a winner, and everything he does is just all about winning and trying to better himself and stuff like that. But we need everyone else to follow suit, particularly those 5 blokes that weren't up to the levels that the club wants. So I just think winning can be infectious and losing can be infectious. 100%. So we need to get off to a good start and not care who we play and just play our game and be in the hunt. And personally, it's just my own selfish want or need. I don't want the season to be over by May. I don't want to be talking. I don't want to be talking West 100%. Tigers crap for the last 4 months. Just having like a therapy session and trying to make everyone feel better and she'll be right and all this stuff. There's just no choice now. We just have to do well next year. It's just enough excuses.
More hugs from the boys. What's next, Az?
The Hall of Famer, aka Shane Coates, says not happy with the times at Cambo. Would have liked at least one Sunday afternoon. Kids won't be getting home until 10:30 p.m. Yeah. School next day. Agree. Hopefully, it doesn't keep families away.
Yeah, hopefully not. If we're winning, they'll come for the 6 o'clock games.
I mean, the fact that the first one is a 6 o'clock game. I hope people can still get there and pack it out for round 1. Yeah. Obviously, try and get the boys off to the best.
Well, the heartbreaking loss we had to Canberra, not this season but last season.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember
that was packed out on a Friday night.
Absolutely.
And that was an 8 o'clock game. And that, correct me if I'm wrong, that was even a standalone game. So we actually had no entertainment beforehand as well. And it was still packed out.
It was, yeah. Amazon Girl, thrilled with our mint draw. Our digital social team is killing it. And our team, in the words of Gus Gould, that's now a top 8 NRL roster. I am absolutely pumped for 2025. Let's fucking go. And just quickly on what Carla said there. The Lockie McIntyre draw release, I think, is probably one of the best pieces of content I've ever seen the West Tigers drop.
Who is he?
What did he do?
He did like a video.
He's a bit of a sports personality, a bit of a hype man, and he's come to the club as a quote unquote intern to release the draw by like doing little skits that show the teams we play.
He kind of did like a cheap budget version of each team.
Okay.
Like he got a chess piece for the Broncos.
Okay.
No, that was the Knights. Like checkmate.
I like
for the
night.
Melbourne
one. He put the Mexican wrestling,
the luchador mask. Yeah.
Nacho Libre.
But even without the theatrics, I was happy with the club's email. Like it just really gave a good summary of what our draw was like, and you could read it in
Richo's
2 or 3
thoughts
minutes. And Richo's thoughts on it. I thought it was a really well presented email.
So like. It's kind of become a little bit more of a thing over here. The club release videos for the draw. Obviously, you've probably seen with the NFL, they do it religiously, a video to release their schedule, and they've got various different formats that they do that sometimes Australian clubs for their sports may steal, but it's all in a little bit of fun. And yeah, the Tigers have done a couple of them in recent years, but this one, like this low budget, it was pretty funny as well. So yeah, definitely check it out when you get home.
Is it on the Discord chat?
Someone sent it in the Discord chat. I'm pretty sure it's also on YouTube. It's also on Twitter.
All right. I'll check it out when I get home.
It may be on the club's website as well. And lastly, Stroud and Collins fan club, aka Michael, honestly think he replied to Fanua Polo fan club saying, honestly think Samuela Fainu fan club boy takes the biggest jump. Tagging local loony.
No idea what that meant, but yeah, plenty of fun to be had in the Discord. Righto, so this will probably be our last episode, unless Richo pulls a
rabbit out of the
hat and gets another good signing, we might jump on. But yeah, if not, stay safe, everyone, over Christmas, and yeah, hopefully plenty of West Tigers memberships and merchandise under the tree from Santa come December. Yeah, what are you boys doing for Chrissy? I'm heading up to Tweed Heads late January. I'm home for Chrissy, and I'm heading up to the Goldie third week of January.
Oh, I might see you there.
For 10 days. Yeah, we will. Okay,
yeah, Christmas isn't really celebrated by my family much anymore, so it'll probably just be a typical quiet, lazy day with
Festivus.
A little bit of potentially
go to a club,
cricket and other sports or whatever else might be going on. Obviously, Boxing Day test is
it's plenty sport. Yeah,
day NFL. After. Yeah, and NFL's still on around that time.
It's actually great
It's the best time. I love my
cricket,
NFL.
Boxing
Absolutely
Day,
love it.
You got NFL, you got
Big Bash.
cricket, Big Bash.
You've also got the college stuff going on at that time as well.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, eating leftover turkey sandwiches. Oh, it's the best. How good's Christmas? Yeah, Merry Christmas to everyone out there and Happy New Year. We'll see you in the new year. We're going to, a lot of exciting plans. As I said, obviously we'll switch to West Tigers life and going to be more than just a podcast. We want to do a lot more content and stuff. We had a lot of fun the last few rounds of the year doing those reaction videos. We want to make that a regular thing as well. We want to,
do some away games, some live content.
Well, yeah, even we're going to do some live streaming, watch some games. Live reaction games, so you can kind of turn the volume down on your TV and have us
watch us
dribbling,
like pork chops.
Yeah, us yelling and swearing and all sorts of things. So lots of fun.
Probably not family friendly.
Definitely won't be family friendly when I'm going at it.
Well, I get in trouble all the time.
I remember watching Magic Round 2 years ago at
yeah, you got a bit scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last time we played the Dragons, actually.
That's right. Bud Sullivan got 2 tries against us that day.
Yep.
Yeah. But thank you for a great year, everyone. But it's going to be even better year in 2025. No
100%
doubts. Any parting words for the year?
Stay safe, everyone. Keep your chin up. Get behind the Tigers in 2025. We just have to. It has to be next year. There's just no other choice. Has to be next year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everyone who supports the show in any way, shape, or form, whether that be just listening or subscribing on the YouTube or donating or being a Patreon, whatever it is you do to support the show. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And also, long live the mighty King Richo and all the improvements he's making to our club and making it a better place, bringing players who want to come to the club, improving vibes and just re-energizing the joint, I guess, is probably my favorite word for it. And yeah, looking forward to season 2025. Probably getting back into this, maybe February-ish?
Yeah.
Around the trials. Yeah.
Yep. We'll be fresh back from the Goldie.
Hopefully
nice
it's
ready to go.
we just got to gear to round 1. Don't worry about the trials. Don't worry about the results. It's
big season to come.
Yeah, let's just get into it next year and hopefully it's all good.
If you do want to support the show, podcast at westlife.com. If you want to reach out to the emails, if you want to jump on board and support the show, in the West Tigers life in 2025. Almost the 2024.
It still feels a little bit funky saying the new year when we're not quite.
We're not yet. Yeah, that's why I kept referring to this season as the one we've just had.
It's
not last year.
Rugby League New Year has passed, but New Year has not passed yet. So we're kind of in that middle sort of.
Well, I tell you what,
place.
Terrell May is a bloody beautiful early Christmas present. Let me tell you.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas to us all. All right, go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the West Life podcast. Please follow us at West Life Pod on Instagram and Twitter and facebook.com/West Life Pod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/West Life and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the West Life podcast.